Good morning, good evening, friends. Uh, After a long time, we are actually meeting. So nice meeting you all once again. And from today, we'll actually go ahead with regular classes. I'll be relatively free, so I'll be able to divert certain time to you. I hope it will be useful to you guys. And from today, we'll start taking transfer of property, and after that, we'll proceed to the other subjects. So, without wasting time, let's just proceed to our discussion. Let me share my screen with you. So, today we'll just discuss the introduction of the Transfer of Property Act and then proceed to the definition. We'll discuss some of it, and probably from tomorrow we'll take full-fledged classes because I couldn't prepare for it much today. Going to my word. Okay. I hope the slides are visible to you. Please, someone confirm me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So, before knowing that what is exactly Transfer of Property Act talking about, we have to know what does it mean by a property. But sadly, Transfer of Property Act itself doesn't define the property. The term property has not been defined anywhere in Transfer of Property Act, though the legislature has actually made sure that they have used it in the widest sense. That means any economic content, if any right has any economic content in it, or any interest has any economic content in it, then it has been deemed as a property, and as such, the meaning of property has been attributed to it like that. But if you may ask that what is a property, then I will say that it is nothing but a right or an interest over something which can be either tangible, it can be intangible, but then you must have a right or interest over it, and that right or must interest must have an economic value. That means it can be put to a value. That means you can attribute a number to it. If you can't sell it in the market, if there is no value attached to it, then that can't be property. So in that sense only it has been used in the Transfer of Property Act. And then coming to the fact that what is a transfer, as we all know that if we transfer, when we say that it's a transfer, that means passing over of property from one person to another, and that can be by two modes, that is transfer inter vivos and transfer non inter vivos. And what is transfer inter vivos? Inter vivos means if a transfer is between the parties because of the act of themselves. That means they themselves decide that they want to transfer a property from one person to another. They want to transfer a property, then that's a transfer inter vivos. And if by operation of law that happens, that transfer happens not because of the act of the parties, but because of the operation of law, then that transfer is called non inter vivos. Simple terms रे कहले दीटा टाइप रो ट्रांसफर गोटे होची इंटरवाइवस ट्रांसफर गोटे नॉन इंटरवाइवस ट्रांसफर नॉन इंटरवाइवस ट्रांसफर रे लॉ इज टेकिंग इट्स कोर्स एंड लॉ पई ट्रांसफर टा होची आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल कि लॉ पई केमते ट्रांसफर टा होची सपोज देयर इज a person named Rama, and he died, and he has two sons named Love and Kush, and these two persons are to inherit the property. Ram, while dying, he did not make a will. Probably he did not do anything, but just because he died, now that the legal heirs are Love and Kush, the property automatically comes to Love and Kush in the proportion that might be fixed by the law. But then law only decided that it will be transferred. The parties did not do it. That is non-inter vivos. But then what is inter vivos? Inter vivos is a agreement to sell, that I am selling my car today to another person. That is it. That is by the act of the parties, because I decided that I will sell my car. And that is the reason my car is being sold. That is transfer
Sir,
inter
in
vivos.
interviewers means living to living person, sir.
Yes, you may say so, but when I say that it will be by the act of parties, it obviously means that it is a transfer between living person, because obviously if a person is dead, he cannot transfer the uh, property himself, because if I'm dead, then how am I acting and how am I transferring the property? I hope I am clear to you, Prashant.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the Transfer of Property Act basically deals with the inter-vivus mode of transfer. It does not deal with the non-inter-vivus mode of transfer. It deals with the inter-vivus mode of transfer basically. But the non-inter-vivus modes of transfer, can anyone give me an example? What law deals with the non-inter-vivus modes of transfer?
So like will succession, and where one person is not living and the property of one person is transferred to another person, then Indian Succession Act comes into operation.
Yes, Indian Succession Act, Hindu Succession Act, all those acts are dealing with the non-intervivus modes of transfer.
Sir, will does not operate in Hindu Succession Act, sir.
What is it?
I think will does not comes under Hindu Succession Act, sir.
No,
It
I did
comes
not say
under
that.
in testamentary succession, sir.
Yes, it is intestate succession, you may say.
Yes, sir.
It is not intestamentary, it is intestate. Testamentary
Sir,
and intestate. Both
sir,
both are different things.
sir.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So coming to the property, there can be various types of property, but we are mainly concerned with the movable or immovable part of it. So if someone asks you what are the kinds of property, you may say tangible property, intangible property. We are not concerned with that. We are concerned with whether you can move the property or you cannot move the property. That is the basic crux of it. But then movable and immovable have been defined by law in a different sense, right? In a common parlance, you may say that a property which can be moved is movable, a property which cannot be moved is immovable. But the law does not think that way. There are things that you have to keep in mind while defining movable and immovable according to the laws of the land. And what is an immovable property? Let's just discuss. It is defined in the law, but it is exactly not defined in the TP Act. TP Act just says that it does not include immovable property, does not include standing timber, growing crops, and grass. But then it's not an exhaustive definition. It says that immovable property does not include this, but it does not say what does it include or what do you construe by when I say immovable property. Immovable property କହିଲେ କଣଟା ବୁଝୁଛି ସେଟା ତ TP Act କହୁନି. ସେ କହୁଛି ଯେ ତିନିଟା ଜିନିଷକୁ exclude କରୁଛି. That is standing timber, growing crop, and grass. We'll discuss all of them one by one. But then here General Clauses Act comes into rescue. Section 3, Clause 26 of General Clauses Act says that it includes, that means immovable property includes land, benefits arising out of the land, and things attached to the earth. So section 326, clause 26, you have to remember that when a question comes that what is an immovable property, you can't simply write that it does not include standing timber, growing crops, and grass and get away with it. That will be an incomplete answer. Complete answer would be when you actually go for the comprehensive definition that has been given in General Clause Act and then write Section 3 TP Act. That will be a complete definition. So we'll discuss what does General Clause Act Section 326 say when it says that land, benefits arising out of the land, and things attached to the earth. So basically, you have to know that when I say land, it means that the land above, the land beneath, and if there is anything permanently annexed to the land, that is also part of the land. And when I say land, it also means sea, it also means oceans, it also means river, because the water bodies are on it. So I can't just say that Indian Ocean is not an immovable property just because it is not land per se. You're getting it? So basically, it includes water bodies. It includes the ground underneath. That means it includes the mineral, all the stone and gold and coal, all that thing that is there underneath. And then the things that are permanently annexed to the land, those are also included within the definition of land. Now we'll come to the fact, come to benefits arising out of the land. What are the benefits arising of the land, out of the land? That means that जो benefit टा land रू बाहरुची. Simply put, that गोटे land ପାଇଁ ହିଁ ଅଛି ତ ଏ benefit ଅଛି. So the land नथा ना से benefit नथा. For example, uh, I have a I have an easementary right over a certain way, because my quarter is a government quarter. It is right now on a particular area, but there is a public road which is coming to the house. Without using the public road, though it is not my own, still it is, I am using it, because there is no way to come to my house if I don't use the public road. So I have an easementary right over it. The right to light that I have because of the land that I possess, that is also a benefit that is arising out of the land. The right to for example, right to rent also. Because I have the land, that is a rental right that I have, that is also a benefit arising out of the land. So all these are called benefits arising out of the land. Right to fisheries, I've written, it has been defined in registration act also, that right to fisheries, right to ways, right to light, all of these are benefits arising out of the land. And in this particular case, Anand Behra versus State, it has been uh, I've written Chili's Lake by mistake. It must be Chilika Lake. So right to catch fish from Chilika Lake, that was also held to be a benefit arising out of the land. And in Santabai versus State, it was held that if it is there is a right, there is which is there to enter into a land and to cut wood, that is also a benefit arising out of the land, and hence it is also an immovable property. And the third part, it says things attached to the earth. Things attached to the earth, that has been defined in section 3 TPA, very plainly put. And it has been again said that there are three classes of things which will be called things attached to the earth. So let's revise once again. I want you to be very clear because it is a little confusing. Immovable property, it includes land, benefits arising out of land, and things attached to the earth, and does not include standing timber, growing crop, and grass. Now we are discussing land, benefits arising out of the land, and things attached to the earth one by one. We discuss land, we discuss benefits arising out of the land. Now coming to things attached to the earth, that is again, when I say things attached to the earth, that is again meaning that I'm saying three things. That is rooted to the earth, embedded in the earth, and things attached to what is so embedded in the earth. So when I say rooted to the earth, that means any tree which is there. But then when I say a tree or shrub, if it is there, if it is rooted in the earth, that is, that must be an immovable property. But given the fact that the section 3 TP Act excludes standing timber, growing crops, and grass, obviously now this rooted to the earth excludes standing timber, growing crop, and grass. So basically all shrubs and trees which are rooted to the earth will be things attached to the earth, except the fact that the standing timber, growing crop, or grass will be excluded. What are standing timber, what is growing crop, we'll discuss them later. Now coming to embedded in the earth. Embedded in the earth, when I say, that means what is permanently fixed in the earth. For example, a house, the walls thereof, all these are permanently embedded in the earth. In that case, those things will be also treated as if they are things attached to the earth, and by virtue of that they automatically become an immovable property. Now the third thing is things attached to what is so embedded in the earth. So basically, the house, it is attached to the land, permanently embedded, it is attached to the land. There is a door which is attached to the house. Now the door which is attached to the house, or the windows that are attached to the house, or the cupboards that are attached to the house, those also are coming under this third category, that is things attached to what is so embedded, and therefore they also become a part of immovable property. Now coming to what are movable property. We'll discuss what is movable property, and in the process we'll know that what all are not included in immovable property. Again, movable property has not been defined as well, but then General Clauses Act. General Clauses Act, I believe it is the NDRF team when a flood comes. Basically, when any act messes up and they forget to define it, General Clauses Act comes into the picture. They say that okay, no problem, you haven't defined it, but then we knew that probably you are going to miss out, so we made sure that it is defined. So it says that what are movable property? Standing timber, growing crop, and grass. Now, when I say standing timber, that means a wood or a tree which is intended for wood. If I intended salo, sagwan, all these trees, they are planted because the ultimate aim is to get wood out thereof and make furnitures or make houses or make boats or anything of that sort. But obviously, you don't plant a sal tree in order to get the fruit thereof. Yeah, of course, sal leaves are used in some cases to make vidis and all of that, but then the main purpose is for wood only. In that case, that will be treated as a standing timber, and if it is a standing timber, then it is a movable property. And if it is a fruit bearing tree like mango or orange or any fruit of that sort, which are which have we actually plant in order to enjoy the fruit. We don't intend to uproot it or take the wood thereof and cut it and make furniture. Of course, if it dies, that is another thing. But our sole purpose is to enjoy the fruits thereof. In that case, that is not a standing timber. Even though we know that mango wood is used in furniture somewhere. Also, there are trees which are planted for food purpose, but their wood is also used for furniture and all of that. In that case, also, if their main purpose is to get the fruits thereof, then that will not be a standing timber. Now coming to the growing crops. What are called growing crops? The crops that are there, that are there in the field, that are presently there in the field, these are called movable property. Why, you may ask, though it is permanently rooted, well, not permanently, but it is rooted in the earth. But you but then obviously the purpose is to cut it. The purpose is to cut it in few months. You when uh, the monsoon comes, you make sure that your harvest, you plant your trees, and before the summer you cut it. So basically, when you know that it is bound to be cut, it is bound to be used for grains, the planting is for very temporary or very limited purpose, then they'll be called growing crops. And grass is, of course, it is intended for grazing, it is intended for fodder. For that reason, it is also movable. And as these are movable property, these three will not be called immovable property. So what are movable property? That has been defined, that it includes standing timber, growing crop, and grass. Now TPA Act does the other way around. It says that immovable property does not include standing timber, growing crops, and grass. Now you must be clear what are movable property, what are immovable property, what is a property, what is transfer, what are the kinds of transfer, intervivors, non-intervivors, property, kinds of property, and all these things you must be aware of. And I may be excused that though I was trying to prepare the slides, I couldn't because of paucity of time. So tomorrow we'll finish the definition chapter and then proceed to the next chapter thereof. Uh, I just had to take this class today, though it was a small session. I made sure I did not miss it because I had promised that I'll be taking classes from Monday. Um, Nevertheless, I couldn't prepare for much for it. So from tomorrow, we'll definitely take a full-fledged class, which will be around 45 minutes, and we'll try to cover max portion uh, from it. I'm sure people must not be having any doubt because it was a small discussion we had anyway. So still then, if we have any doubt, uh, you may very well ask or write or whatever the case may be. I'm so glad the old students, old friends are back here. So hopefully all of all of you will join and make sure that the classes are productive. And as I always say, it has been always a learning curve from me. When I take you